made a comparison with you and Nas, man.
That's a question.
Song?
No.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
Jim Jones messed with the wrong names. Twice. First Nas, then Pusha T. Back-to-back disrespect like he had nothing to lose. And now, his rap career is barely breathing. That's all it took for the whole culture to flip on him. Jim said Nas wasn't really that impactful, then turned around and called Pusha T overrated. He even claimed he was the reason Nas went viral again. That's when people started saying Jim crossed the line he might never bounce back from. And the way things unfolded, it didn't feel like just another petty rap beef. It looked way deeper. It was like something much bigger had already been set in motion behind the scenes.
You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment.
Now fans are asking, was this just Jim's ego spiraling out of control? Or was the culture low-key pushing him out, like a quiet exit from the very space he once helped build? Because that wild quote, it's still circulating like wildfire. That Summer Jam set, slashed. And Pusha T, he's not letting it go. Let's rewind the whole mess and figure out what really kicked off Jim's slow, painful fade from the spotlight. That one bold sentence, it didn't just throw shade, it erased a legend. Jim wasn't just critiquing Nas's recent tracks. He straight up dismissed the entire legacy of one of hip-hop's most respected genre-defining icons. Let's break this down. Jim didn't just say this at some random spot.
No,
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck.
He dropped this bomb on Joe and Jada's podcast, a laid-back show known for jokes and chill convos, not for career-shaking shade. And instead of walking it back, Jim stood on it, loud and proud. With zero hesitation, he basically claimed Nas never meant that much to the culture, and that his own Billboard numbers could match, or even beat, Nas's. That's when jaws started dropping. Let's get one thing straight. Nas ain't just another rapper. He's a pillar in hip-hop. Illmatic isn't just a classic, it's taught in college courses. Ether still haunts battle rappers to this day, and with King's Disease, Nas showed he's not washed. He's evolving. Meanwhile, Jim's out here talking like he just dropped The Chronic. Like, seriously? This wasn't about music. This was about ego. Insecurity dressed up as a hot take. And when he dragged his own kid into the conversation, people were like, what kind of example is that? The internet lit him up instantly. Fans started pulling receipts, putting up side-by-side comparisons, showing every NAS award, every sold-out show, every album that made history. And Jim...
All right, Nas. But remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like, you dig? Came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then, as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
He just had Billboard chart numbers. That's it. All of this started because he tried to rewrite history with an opinion no one asked for. Most artists, after getting flamed online for coming at a legend, would have stepped back or at least cooled it. Not Jim. He went full steam ahead. He pulled up on Nightcap, stared Shannon Sharp dead in the eye, and tripled down. Said Nas never had that influence? Hold up, compared to who? Jay-Z and DMX. Those three are in completely different lanes. Nas was deep, poetic, almost spiritual. Jay was the slick business mogul. DMX brought raw pain and chaos to the mic. That's like comparing Kendrick to Future. Different missions, different energy.
I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
you know what I mean?
A lot of them don't.
Saying Nas never led the pack? That's not a bold opinion. It's straight up rewriting history. And here's the wildest part. Jim doesn't even hide the fact he used to look up to Nas. He admitted he wanted to dress like him when he was a teen. Now he's out here using a film from 1998 to try and erase a 30-year legacy?
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart. and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening.
That's not critique. That's reaching way too hard. Here's where the delusion really kicked in. Because now it wasn't even about stats or opinions anymore. Jim started moving like he needed Nas to be beneath him. Like he was mad the numbers weren't matching up with the story he was trying to tell. This wasn't about music. It was about positioning. Jim wanted to force his way into the same convo as the GOATs. But instead, all he did was put a spotlight on his own insecurity for never being mentioned with them. And if you thought Jim might finally chill out after all the backlash, nope.
Way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
Ain't no shame in that. There a lot of folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album.
Think again. On Bag Fuel, he came back swinging with one of the wildest quotes of the whole drama. He didn't just say Nas was irrelevant. He didn't just say Nas was second place. Nah. Jim straight up claimed he was the one who brought Nas back to viral life. Like what? Jim acted like the whole culture owed him a thank you for reminding us Nas was even still around. Fans weren't having it. The reactions online were instant and savage. One person clapped back. The only reason you're being talked about is because you're making dumb comments about Nas.
He told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear and shit, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that.
That's it. People are interviewing you for the clicks. Another fan snapped. The amount of delusional disrespect from Jim Jones toward Nas is getting out of hand. I'm sick of it. You don't get any points for talking crazy like this. And what made it worse? The math didn't even add up. Nas has never disappeared. He's been active, dropping 3 albums in 5 years, snagging a Grammy, and packing out venues across the country. So what exactly did Jim bring back? Because from where fans are sitting, Nas never left. Nas has been grinding, working, while Jim's been out here playing podcaster. Jim thought he was kicking off a trend, but what he really did was light the fuse on his own downfall. Let's rewind to 2024, Paris.
Like, I don't really care.
The Louis Vuitton Spring Summer Show is stacked with icons. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron. Every heavyweight in music, fashion, and culture is there. Cameras flashing, history being made. Pharrell's debuting his first collection as the new head of Louis Vuitton Men's. This was a moment. Then, boom, the beat drops. But it's not just some random track, it's Clipse. Out of nowhere, Pusha T and his brother No Malice hit the runway with a brand new song. Their first in over a decade, and those lyrics, they changed the whole energy in the room. Even Jay-Z was locked in, nodding his head. This wasn't just slick wordplay. This was a warning shot. In the middle of the most high-profile fashion event of the year, Pusha T used the mic to fire off a strategic diss, and everybody knew exactly who the target was. That bar about chasing a feature out of your element? Yeah, that was aimed straight at Jim, linking up with Drake right after being crowned an honorary Dipset member on stage in Harlem. That's the same Drake Pusha obliterated in The Story of Adidon, a hit that still haunts Drake's legacy. This wasn't some SoundCloud sneak attack. This was tactical warfare. Pusha didn't just clap back. He turned Paris Fashion Week into a battleground. That's chess, not checkers. And how did Jim respond? He took it to every mic he could find. Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, Drink Champs, you name it. And every time, he dragged Pusha. Said he's not even top 50? Like that erases his whole catalog? Instead of playing it smart, Jim doubled down again. But now, with the whole world watching, he's making himself look like the one out of place. While Jim was running his mouth on every podcast that would have him, Pusha brought out billionaires, luxury fashion houses, and living legends to sit front row for his revenge. And this wasn't just about slick lyrics. It was about the entire setup, the stage, the energy, the symbolism. Everything was calculated. Pharrell produced the track. The Pharrell who helped shape Clipse' entire sound and has one foot in Virginia and the other deep in the elite fashion world. The track they dropped? Chains and Whips, reportedly recorded at Louis Vuitton's actual headquarters in Paris, overlooking the Seine River.
Sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now. His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I
them.
love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan. He's like,
you know.
I didn't know he had fans like
No.
that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No,
Dreaming of
his
the
records.
Past.
Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that.
Pusha
But
top 50.
you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought like you dig. Like where I'm from, niggas want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things
Wayne
like that.
wanted to
It's
be like Pusha.
shit.
He was influenced by Pusha.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. You heard? But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? Did be the girls, all the girls wanted to do him? Like, what is the...
Pharrell even told the New York Times, pointing out the window, that was made in this room. We just started walking around and looking out this window and you just see all of this. I mean, we beating this system, bro. That wasn't music, that was a power move. While Pusha T was playing chess on designer tables in Paris, Nas was making empire moves back home in Queens. Jim was still out here chasing headlines. Nas was out here launching Resorts World Queens, a massive 350,000 square foot casino and resort project backed by a $5 billion vision. This ain't just another celebrity endorsement. This is Nas building infrastructure, equity, and generational wealth for an entire borough, while Jim's still out here bragging about Summer Jam like it's 2008. Nas didn't even need to respond with bars. He hit back with receipts, and fans caught it instantly. The comments under his posts were savage. One fan wrote, "Somebody else can't stop yapping, worried about going viral. Meanwhile, Nas out here making boss moves." Another added, "When you're really rich, really respected, and really relevant, you don't need to talk back. You let your life speak for you."
Future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy. It's opportunity. It's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business. This is legacy. And now it's time. Time to invest in...
And Jim, he gets booed off the stage. Let's paint the picture. Summer Jam 2024. Jim Jones finally gets the spotlight, and it goes left, fast. Jim's been chasing clout all year, and the second he hit the stage, crickets. No hype, no crowd reaction, just silence. And then, it got even worse. Funkmaster Flex, yeah, that Flex, one of Jim's loudest supporters, cut his set short right in front of everyone. You could see it hit Jim in real time. That was supposed to be his moment. All that energy he stirred up with the beef, it didn't land. Because at the end of the day, Jim didn't bring bangers. He brought drama. And drama don't move crowds like hits do. But even after all that embarrassment, Jim still wasn't ready to back down. He had one more diss loaded, and this one, it got personal. After that Louis Vuitton performance, Pusha T stayed quiet publicly. But behind the scenes, word started buzzing. He wasn't done. Sources close to Clipse say their upcoming reunion album is locked and loaded, with bars specifically aimed at Jim. That Paris track, that was just the opening shot. The rest, way darker. Insiders are calling this Pusha's Coke Bear moment. He's fully stepping into the villain role. No more playing it safe. And if Jim keeps poking the bear, it's about to be lyrical homicide. And the wildest part, it's not even just about lyrics. It's the whole setup. Pusha is making his return in elite spaces, luxury fashion shows, high-end stages, billion-dollar rooms. Meanwhile, Jim, he's rapping in Harlem alleyways. Over the same exact beat he just got cooked on in Paris. You heard that right. Jim flipped the chains and whips beat, dropped a freestyle, and tried to clap back. But here's where he really crossed the line. He took a swipe at No Malice. Yup, the same No Malice who stepped away from rap to pursue faith and turn his life around. That wasn't just a diss, that was disrespect. Pusha might take lyrical shots like a sport, but bringing up his brother, that's different. Pusha hasn't said anything publicly yet, but if history tells us anything, when he does respond, it won't be fast, but it'll be surgical. Pusha T doesn't react fast, he moves strategic. And when he does strike, it's lethal. But Jim couldn't leave it alone. He made his biggest mistake yet, publicly dissing Clipse's new single on camera during an interview, one last desperate swing at Clipse and their new track, Chains and Whips.
Yes.
About
Man,
Pusha T.
People don't like people, yeah, see? There we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the Clipse. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good?
It's so, oh man.
It's good?
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't telling us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it?
You don't think Ace Trumpets is
believe
hard?
it. I don't believe them. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's craft.
Jim said he doesn't listen to Clipse, and never has. But the fake chill slipped quick. You could feel the insecurity dripping out of every word. Because deep down, he knew exactly who that song was about. And he knew. They cooked him. This is when the whole energy flipped. It wasn't just Pusha T and Nas anymore. It was the entire culture shutting the door on Jim. The blogs dragged him. Socials lit up. Even longtime Dipset fans were like, bro, it's time to wrap it up. This wasn't just beef anymore. This was a lesson. Jim Jones stepped into a heavyweight ring thinking he could go bar for bar with Nas and Pusha, and instead got folded by silence, chess moves, and billionaire-level boss plays. He's not trending. He's not charting. He's not even on playlists. At this point, Jim's a ghost in his own lane. And the craziest part, the next Clipse album hasn't even dropped yet. That might be the real funeral, because if what insiders are saying is true, what we've seen so far was just the warm-up. So if you thought this beef was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs the real story. And yo, we'll catch you on the next one.